1,
2,
3, let's go!
Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. I know I haven't been on here in like a week, but I'm back now. I'm reacting to Bow Wow, his career.
This is Bow Wow. Y'all hear that? Can y'all hear it? Yes. He's the future. He's a rapper too. He gonna drop and y'all go out and grab his stuff soon.
Actor Bow Wow will go through a series of different name changes, including dropping Little from his moniker and eventually going by his real name of Shad Moss.
To me, it really wasn't that big of a deal. You know what I mean? I was kind of laughing at the reaction, how everybody was just making it like some of the biggest news in the world. But to me, it was just hilarious because I was like, shit, I'm just using my normal name. You know what I mean? But
After Bow Wow would have over 1 million subscribers on YouTube, 3 million followers on Twitter, and over 4.5 million followers on Instagram at the time of this recording. When this legend of the rap game first hit the scene back in the early 90s, he went by the unforgettable name of Lil Bow Wow. And over the course of his career, he dropped as many hit tracks on us as he would name changes and swerves in his career path. Eventually, Bow Wow would evolve into something of an actor and announced in 2016 that he was done with rapping entirely.
Bow Wow has announced he is retiring from rap. I'm good with everything I accomplished. I made it to the White House. He's gonna do this one last album, and that's it, his final hurrah.
Of course, if we flash forward a little under 5 years, Bow Wow is still in some strange type of holding pattern as he continues to promise his fans one last album without ever delivering. So what gives? Are we ever gonna get this final studio album, and will Bow Wow still retire if we finally do? Well, not for nothing, but this is actually the second time Bow Wow has announced his retirement. He first did so back in 2009 during a radio interview, which means if I'm being honest, I kind of doubt Bow Wow's career is going to be over anytime soon. But let's take a closer look to find out if I'm right. Hey, what's poppin', guys? Your boy Marlon Palmer back at it again with a brand new episode in our series, Where Are They Now? This one taking a look at the recent history of Bow Wow, formerly of The Little Variety. Growing up in the early 2000s, it was like impossible to talk to any girls that weren't in love with Lil Bow Wizzle. And I was definitely one of those guys that was tying their shoelaces, asking God to make me like Mike. So he's a legend. But he's pretty well known for his music too. And today I'm gonna be filling you guys in on everything he's been up to lately. Let me know what you think by following me on Instagram at DaddyMcFly. Let's get into the story. Bow Wow was born Shad Moss and began rapping at the extremely young age of just 6 years old, which garnered the attention of the OGs of the industry, including Snoop Doggy Dogg.
When we discovered it, he was ready to go. We put him on a couple songs on Death Row. They had him on some good songs. He was going hard on them motherfuckers.
After bequeathing upon this youngster the name everyone would come to know him by, Little Bow Wow, by the year 2000, Bow Wow was already ready to release his very own debut album, Beware the Dog, which featured the hit singles Bow Wow, That's My Name, as well as Bounce With Me and Puppy Love. Bounce with me, bounce with me. That was a bop. By 2002, he was a big enough commodity that his second studio album, Doggy Bag, went all the way to number 11 on the Billboard charts and was certified platinum along the way thanks to singles like Take You Home and Thank You. It was a huge year for Lil Bow Wow because not only did he have a certified hit album, but he also made his professional acting debut in the box office success like Mike that saw him increase his national exposure by leaps and bounds. No pun intended. But maybe fame was starting to get to his head a little bit because that same year was when Bow Wow decided that Little didn't really suit him any longer, now that he was practically a teenager at the ripe old age of 13. So he dropped the prefix and started going simply as Bow Wow in April of 2002, telling MTV at the time, "I changed my name because I'm getting older now and it's too many littles, all these little rappers. I'm just kind of getting irritated by it. Besides, I'm growing up, I'm not little anymore." Despite the branding alteration, Bow Wow's career continued to soar as he released further albums like Unleashed in 2003, Wanted in 2005, and The Price of Fame in 2006. The last album, though, wasn't quite the success the previous ones had been after releasing the collaborative album Face Off alongside Omarion in 2007 and New Jack City 2 in 2009. Bow Wow was effectively done making music. Listen, don't sleep on that Face Off album. Classic.
me and Shady, we got back together because not only, like, because, you know, this is my last album. I knew I wanted to go out with a bang. I'm like, yo,
if I make this my last album, hook back up with the dude who helped me and was responsible for Bow Wow as well as Snoop was.
After releasing that last album, Bow Wow had his next album in mind ever since. A project originally titled Underrated, set to premiere on Cash Money Records, but over time, this album has seen a series of significant delays. When singles like Ain't Thinking About You and Sweat appeared online, they were meant to be precursors to this project, but ended up ultimately becoming nothing more than one-shots. So don't get me wrong, Bow Wow didn't stop making music entirely after 2009, but he's exclusively released only a handful of singles and a half dozen mixtapes since the start of the last decade. When asked in August of 2013 about Underrated, Bow Wow explained that the project had been delayed indefinitely after the birth of his daughter, so that he could only spend time with her, but also mature himself as a man. At that time, he also claimed that he'd released that album after he turned 28. Very mature, very responsible. Good job, Papa Bow.
This album deals with pain, emotion, struggle, life. This is what Underrated is about.
Then in June of 2014, Bow Wow announced via his Instagram page that he was going to start by going by his real name of Shad Moss, as he had already accomplished everything he possibly could as Bow Wow. By the following year, his long-delayed project with Cash Money had still yet to be released, so he split ways with the label, saying at the time, "I want to dictate when my music come out. I'm tired of going to the studio to make records and I listen to them, because then they get old. Then when y'all ask for new music, I don't want to hear it, because I've been listening to it for 2-3 months. I got a family I got to provide for." This paved the way for what happened in September of 2015 when Bow Wow signed with Sean Combs' Bad Boy Records. But in the plot twist to end all plot twists, less than a year after that, he officially announced he was retiring from the world of rapping without ever having released an album on that label.
Bow Wow, aka Lil Bow Wow, has announced his retirement. After wrapping up his Aussie tour, the 29-year-old took to his Twitter account to let his fans know the devastating news.
Part of this announcement included the news that he would finally be releasing his long-delayed studio album, now titled NYLTH, which was scheduled to drop sometime in 2017. It's now 2021, and yeah, the album still hasn't dropped. I did a little digging online and found out a few things. 1, the album is still apparently on its way. 2, it's now gone through yet another name change and is currently titled 430. And 3, it's scheduled to be released in September 2021.
I'm gonna do one more album he wrote, and P, I'm gonna do it. It's gonna be the last one, and it's gonna be called Before 30. You know, and I'm gonna have Snoop narrate the whole thing, so it's gonna be kind of a different project.
So with very little music to speak of over the past 10 years, what has Bow Wow been up to?
Well, I'm gonna stop it
He's
here.
been acting like a
So
lot. He's appeared in films like Allegiance
please
in 2012,
like, comment,
Scary Movie 5 in
subscribe,
2013,
share
and he was
this
a regular
video,
on the hit series CSI Cyber.
hit that bell
You need this
button,
type of thing, man. You be on set all day, you be working your brain.
and please subscribe
You need
to
something
my channel.
Get down.
And
He
have a
also made
good
an appearance on the reality series
afternoon.
The Masked Singer this past year in